Hello, this is Max. Today you will hear a story about a girl who went on vacation but ended up breaking up with her husband and her friend passed away. You can subscribe to the channel after watching. It helps us a lot in realizing the content. The film begins with Beth's arrival in Croatia, where she plans to spend a weekend with her best friend Kate. Beth takes a taxi arranged by Kate and meets the friendly driver, Zane. Once they reach their destination safely, Zane kindly offers his contact information in case Beth needs any assistance during her stay. Kate warmly welcomes Beth to their rented Airbnb, and Beth expresses her gratitude for Kate sponsoring the vacation. However, Kate reveals that she is secretly using her ex-husband Jay's credit card to pay for everything without his knowledge. Later, Beth gifts Kate a black necklace with a few loose beads, which Kate happily wears that evening while getting ready. Beth talks via video link to her husband and their new baby in London, and afterward, Kate and Beth head out to dinner. On their way, they encounter their peculiar landlord, Sebastian, who is also a film composer. Sebastian greets them and wishes them a comfortable stay. During dinner, Kate purposely orders the most expensive dishes to drain Jay's money. Beth starts feeling guilty for not being there for Kate during her divorce, but Kate assures her that she understands their responsibilities with the new baby. When Kate asks about Beth's marriage, she admits that it's going through a difficult phase, and they haven't been intimate for a year. Kate suggests seeking a divorce if Beth is unhappy, but Beth believes it's too drastic of a decision at the moment. Shortly after their conversation, Kate gets into an argument on the phone. The waiter then informs them that their credit card has been declined, indicating that Jay has finally caught on to Kate's plan. Beth offers to split the bill, but Kate refuses, not wanting to inconvenience her. They then take Zane's taxi to a club. During the ride, Zane strikes up a conversation with Beth and reveals that he is from Syria and has escaped the war-torn country. Beth discloses that she is American and has been living in London for the past 15 years. After arriving at the club, they join two attractive men at a table. Kate encourages Beth to sleep with them, arguing that she can have one night of freedom without her husband knowing. However, Beth, being married, declines the offer. Nevertheless, Kate insists that Beth can keep it a secret from her husband, Rob. The two men offer them drinks, and the last thing Beth remembers is Kate inviting the men back to their apartment. The following morning, Beth wakes up with a terrible hangover and a vague memory of the previous night. However, Kate is not at the apartment, and she is not answering her phone. To her horror, Beth discovers broken glass and blood on the floor. Around noon, she calls her husband Rob to express her worries, but he reassures her that Kate is probably out on her own and advises her not to worry. Beth then asks Sebastian if he has seen Kate, but he claims he hasn't and adds that parties are not allowed. To make matters worse, he informs Beth that he will charge her extra for the two men who stayed at the apartment the previous night. Feeling helpless, Beth decides to go to the police station to file a missing persons report. However, the officer in charge, Pavic, refuses to file a case and asks Beth to wait for 24 hours. With no other options, Beth calls Zane and explains the situation to him. The two of them return to the club they visited the previous night and question the bartender. They discover that the two men from the previous night were escorts who entertained tourists at the club. The next day, after some investigation, Zane and Beth manage to find out about the escorts and arrange a meeting with them. While waiting for the escorts, Beth shares the story of her friendship with Kate and how she introduced her to Rob. She also inquires about Zane's family, and he reveals that he had a wife who died in the Syrian war. Shortly after, the escorts arrive, but when they see Beth, they quickly flee. Zane chases after them and manages to capture one of the escorts. The captured man confesses that they stayed at the apartment until 3 a.m. and took Kate's belongings when she was distracted. However, they deny drugging or harming her. Zane and Beth then go to a pawn shop to retrieve Kate's stolen bag and phone. Upon checking Kate's cell phone, Beth discovers missed calls but is unable to unlock the phone. Later, Beth decides to go to the police station again to provide this information. However, Zane asks her not to disclose his name due to the risk of deportation. This time, a female officer named Kubik files Beth's report and reprimands Pavic for his failure to act. Beth does not mention the phone but does provide the names of the escorts and information about the stolen bag. Kovic wonders if Beth was mistreated, so she orders a medical checkup for her, with the results expected within 24 hours. After returning from the hospital, Beth contacts Kate's ex-husband, Jay, and informs him about the situation. However, Jay doesn't seem concerned, believing that Kate is being dramatic and seeking attention. He admits that he hasn't spoken to Kate in months and insists that all communication must go through their attorneys. This leaves Beth wondering who Kate was arguing with during dinner. Upon returning to her apartment, Beth finds Sebastian packing their belongings because it is past checkout time and new tenants are scheduled to arrive. When Beth reveals that Kate is still missing and she refuses to leave, Sebastian offers her a discounted room on the ground floor of his house. Around midnight, Beth is awakened by the sound of music played by Sebastian. As she heads upstairs, Sebastian invites her to dinner, but Beth declines, saying she will go outside later. On her way to dinner with Zane, Rob unexpectedly arrives, leaving their child with a babysitter. Rob is clearly disturbed by Zane's presence but doesn't show any offense. Beth, however, feels angry about the situation and breaks down in tears. Rob apologizes and comforts her, prompting Beth to share the true story of what happened. Moments later, a call from the police interrupts their conversation, revealing that Kate has been found dead in the sea. Beth and Rob go to the morgue, and Beth is overcome with grief after recognizing her best friend's body. The next morning, Rob expresses regret for not being friendlier to Kate and considers staying longer, but Beth insists he returns to London to care for their daughter. Pavic, the officer in charge, picks up Beth and confirms that Kate was murdered. However, due to Kate's intimate encounters with multiple men before her death, it is unclear if it was consensual or a case of mistreatment. On their way to the police station, Beth requests that Pavic takes her to the morgue to see her friend one last time. In the morgue, Beth holds Kate's phone over her face to unlock it and notices missed calls from someone named Handyman. She enters the bathroom and finds that the calls were going to Rob's voicemail. She scrolls through text conversations and discovers that Kate and her husband were having an affair. Later, in the interrogation room, Kovic reveals that the autopsy indicated the presence of ketamine and cocaine in Kate's system, which was also found in Beth during her checkup. This suggests that they were drugged. Kovic asks Beth if there's anything else she hasn't told them, but Beth denies withholding information. As Pavic drives Beth back to her place, he informs her that they will require her passport until they verify the entire story. Beth then calls Jay, Kate's ex-husband, and informs him about the affair. Surprisingly, Jay was already aware of it but chose to remain silent, especially since Beth was pregnant at the time. Beth meets Zane for lunch and shares everything she has discovered. Zane speculates that Kate may have drugged herself to sleep with another man, prompting Rob to leave her. Back at her apartment, Beth angrily confronts Rob about the affair over the phone, and Rob eventually confesses and apologizes. Rob pleads with Beth to return home, but she refuses, fearing prosecution if the police find out about the affair. The next day, Beth is arrested and questioned about her relationship with Zane. The police inform her that Zane is a member of an Albanian gang involved in illegal activities, including human trafficking. The authorities suspect that Zane murdered Kate on Beth's orders due to her affair with Rob. Beth's lawyer arrives and advises her not to say or do anything before contacting her. When Beth returns to her room, she finds Zane waiting for her. She confronts him about the police allegations, and Zane reveals that he once helped the son of an Albanian mob boss, which allowed him to escape the country and obtain a visa in Croatia. Beth wonders how the police learned about the affair and recalls Pavic giving his card to Sebastian. She discovers a hidden camera in her mirror and begins to investigate further. Sebastian interrupts her, and she steals a key from his ring while he is distracted. Later, Beth enters Sebastian's recording studio and discovers cameras in every room, revealing that he has been spying on the guests. Beth realizes that the two escorts did come to their apartment and stole Kate's belongings while she was passed out. She follows them and manages to write down the license plate number of the vehicle Kate returns home in. Sebastian shows up, and Beth accuses him of being a pervert. They fight over the footage, and Sebastian falls and injures himself. Beth snatches the keys from Sebastian and rushes to call Zane. He drives her to the taxi station, where they find the driver who picked up Kate. The driver reveals that he took Kate to the police station, where she filed a report about the male escorts who stole her things. Beth wonders why the police didn't inform her about this when she first reported Kate missing. Just then, the police arrive to arrest Beth, and she realizes that Officer Paddock is driving the same car she saw rob Kate off in the footage. Beth concludes that Paddock is the one who murdered Kate and tries to run away. Eventually, Paddock catches up with Beth on a rooftop. Beth accuses him of murdering her best friend, but Paddock denies it and attempts to attack her. They struggle, and Paddock loses his footing, falling to his death. Meanwhile, Kovac witnesses the events unfold and later formally apologizes to Beth for not initially believing her. The police discover video evidence showing Paddock driving Kate home and even capturing a man beating Kate before pushing her into the water. It is speculated that Kate may have rejected Paddock's advances, leading to her murder. It is revealed that Paddock had faced previous allegations of sexual misconduct, although the charges were withdrawn and he was cleared. With Paddock's guilt disproven, Beth returns to her life in London. Days later, Beth, who is now separated from Rob, drops off their baby at his apartment. While retrieving her car keys from Rob's coat pocket, she finds a bead from the necklace she gave Kate in Croatia. Beth realizes that Rob could only have the bead if he had met Kate during their time in Croatia. Beth excuses herself to use the restroom and quickly calls Kovac. She starts to tell the officer that Paddock didn't murder Kate, but before she can reveal more, Rob knocks on the bathroom door. Beth confronts him, accusing him of killing her friend. Rob tries to justify his actions, claiming it was an accident. He explains that he arrived in Croatia because Kate threatened to expose the affair to Beth. They were arguing on the boardwalk when he accidentally knocked her into the river, causing her to hit her head on a boulder and drown. In a flashback, it is revealed that Kate wanted to end the affair and regretted it. She decided to tell Beth the truth, which led to Rob attacking her. Kate fell into the water, hitting her head on the rocks, and Rob chose not to save her, letting her drown. In the present, Rob pleads with Beth not to involve the police, as he believes the matter has already been closed. However, it is too late as Beth has been on the call with Kovac the entire time, and the officer has heard everything. In his anger, Rob tries to take the phone from Beth, but she hits him and grabs her baby. The film concludes with Beth fleeing the house with her baby, as police cars arrive to arrest Rob. So, what do you think of this movie? Write your thoughts in the comments under the video, and also do not forget to put a like and subscribe to the channel. Goodbye.